It forces me to slow down. As you can tell by the way I talk, I'm always moving like crazy. When I first got into it 20 years ago, I hated it because I wired that little thing up and I bent it around and trimmed it. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now? And my first teacher said, now you just water it and feed it and wait for about a year or trim it every once in a while when it needs it. I didn't like that. That's not who I am. So it forced me to slow down and relax or become Zen, as the Japanese would say. It's a very calming feeling. I love coming out in the garden with a cup of green tea and just sit back and look at the trees. It's just a very, very calming feeling.
I mean, you have to treat them like pets. They need care every single day. You can't just be like, hey, I'm gonna take off for a week and my trees will be fine. They're not gonna be. If you go, you need someone that knows bonsai to take care of trees that you've been working on for 30 years.
When we sit down to contemplate a tree and we're clipping little leaves off every third leaf, or we're rearranging the branches, we're very present. We're present in that moment, and our mind is not occupied with all the other things that we are anxiously chasing and thinking about. We can leave the busy world behind, and for a moment we have calm and peacefulness.
Everything that is made by hands is art. In bonsai particularly is a natural art because it's the only art that basically using a living material. We manipulate and basically we adapt ourselves to the tree and the tree to ourselves into this transformation into the art piece.
Well, my first exposure to bonsai was probably like most people. I saw the movie The Karate Kid, and they had like you know, bonsai scene in there with Mr. Miyagi. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I bought a book on bonsai, and I'm like, wait, I can't do this. This is way too complicated. You got to take them out of the pots, trim the roots. Didn't get it. It just seemed really more than I knew how to do. So I kind of tried it, gave up on it, like most people. The hobby is kind of turned into an obsession with me. I started out with just a couple really tiny, bad trees, and over the last 30-some years, I've acquired a pretty big collection. I love the fact that a bonsai tree mimics a large tree in nature. It's just fascinating how you can get the visual effect of having like a huge soaring tree that you see in nature and be awed by, and reduce that down to a little pot, and it gives you the same kind of feeling as seeing a large tree out in nature.
The way I got started into bonsai was a woman that I dated. She brought a little tree home for me from a store. I was like, oh, cool, a little tree. I had no idea what it was. And my son, who was 13 at the time, and this was 20 years ago, he said, Dad, that's called a bonsai tree, and you're supposed to put wire on them and bend the branches around and stuff. I didn't know what I was doing. The only wire I had was a roll of solder. I covered every bit of bark width of that tree. So what it was a tree that looked like it was all made out of solder with these little leaves hanging out of it all over the place.
My name is Mauro Stenberger. I'm Italian. I live in Italy, but I travel all over the world to basically help people with their trees. I have schools in different parts of the world, South America, Brazil, here in United States, obviously in Europe, and I love to travel and really get to know people passionate about bonsai, like I am, and help them, with their trees, taking care of their collection, helping styling beautiful trees, or meeting with the students and teaching them.
My name is Teresa Wooden, and I am a bonsai potter living in Holland, Michigan. I've been a potter for like 24 years and got into bonsai pottery right around the time COVID started. And now that's what I do exclusively. Because nobody was coming to the studio to buy anything during COVID, I found that I could put bonsai pots on the auction pages on Facebook, and I had a market for them. And so I got started in that, and it was so much fun. So traditions of composition of bonsai is that the pot is 50% of the composition overall. The pot should be subtle, and while it's a part of the composition, it should not be the main focus. So you want the tree to be the focus of the composition. You don't want your eye to go to the pot first, which is why it would use traditionally subtle colors and not a lot of texture or decoration or anything, because it's supposed to complement the tree, not overwhelm the tree. The biggest difference probably between regular pottery, like plates and bowls and cups, and a bonsai pot is that the bonsai pot is going to have a tree living in it outside in the snow in this area. So you have to make sure that you're making it so that it will be durable. So as a potter and an artist, I definitely bring my own aesthetic to it, and I think every potter probably does. I make something that is completely out of my creative choices. I'll make this beautiful pot as a piece of art. It's really an art piece that fills my creative need.
There's a lot of like American bonsai artists that want to try to make it different and not do the Japanese way, even though they were Japanese trained. You can use our native material but still stay in with the aesthetics of what the Japanese have done for thousands of years. With the Torii gate, and its meaning behind that at the entrance of Shinto temples in Japan, which is a place of God, and that separates the mundane world from the sacred world. And my garden is the sacred world, and the rest of the world is the mundane world. You take a bamboo ladle and you wash the water over your hands. You're washing away the outside world as you enter the sacred world. I wanted that aspect to the entrance of my garden.
There are different ways to see bonsai and to make bonsais. This tree could have been styled in 4 or 5 different ways according to different bonsai master and their vision. Doesn't mean that one is right, one is wrong. It's just a different view of the same subject. And that's why bonsai is beautiful, in my opinion. And like if we put the canvas in front of different painters, they all will come out with a different, finishing product, because again, everything is here.
It's just like everything. Everyone's got different approaches to bonsai and what's right and what's wrong. And and no matter where you go, there's going to be different sides that think, well, you shouldn't buy a tree, you should grow one from seed, or you shouldn't collect a tree because it should stay in nature, or you should never, import a tree. Everyone's got an opinion, and I'm just like, just do what you want. What makes you happy with the hobby, and I'm not going to get involved in the bickering of what's what. It's just not for me. There's some people that hate each other at the shows. There's a million conflicts, people that won't talk to each other. People get really irritated with very wealthy people that'll spend like a lot of money on a bonsai tree, hey, I just bought a bonsai tree for $80,000. I'm a millionaire, I don't care. And I'm gonna come in and win the show with this tree, even though I've never worked on it, and I hire someone and pay them $4,000 a day to take care of my tree. And that pisses off a lot of people that are like, well, I don't have that kind of money. I gotta get a tree for $2,000 or $3,000, and that's pushing it. And then I gotta work on it for 10, 15 years, and then this person beats me in the show with a better tree. My personal thing is, hey, if you got the money to spend a great tree, I get to look at your great tree. I'm totally cool with it. I don't care. Like I said, I'm not that competitive that it's not about the competition. I like to go to the shows, show my tree. Winning is fun. I'm not going to say it isn't. Like, I just won the national show with best deciduous tree. I never thought I'd get it, and I was competing against some of those rich people that had $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 trees, which I never have spent that on a tree in my life.
loosely follow the traditions if you plan to exhibit. You may want to follow them more closely. If you're just having the tree in a pot, it's in your home, you're not going into exhibition, then if you put a tree and pot together and if every time you walk past it, it makes you smile, that's perfect. You know, that's perfect for you. So just be happy with it, and you're the artist. You're the artist with this tree in this pot, and make it yours, and it pleases you, that's great.
The oldest one that I have, again, is the one that I named Drogon. That's conservatively estimated at 1,800 years old. You don't know for sure how old it is unless you were to do a core sample and have it carbon dated, but that's a huge cost. You got to drill a hole into the tree, and I'm not going to do that. There's different ways that the professionals can tell depending on where it was collected. Just the aging of the deadwood that's on the tree, how thick the bark is, the size of it, and that they grow very slowly up there. So you get something with a big, huge trunk on it, it's going to be a lot of years old. The reason why I named it Drogon is because if you're a Game of Thrones fan, the dragon mother, she named the dragon that she rode on Drogon. The command to have the dragons breathe fire was Dracarys. My Doberman I had to put down this past February, that was her command to protect. So what I did was, after she passed, some of her ashes are in that tree. She'll be growing through that tree for as long as it lives.
I do have my first tree from my first class still, and it's not a good tree. I mean, it might be for some people, but as far as on the level of trees I have, it's not a great tree, but I keep that one just because it's like sentimental. You know, it's like, hey, this is my first bonsai tree, you know. It's kind of one of the worst trees in the whole garden, but I didn't know anything when I started, so I didn't start out with a good tree, and it's, you know, probably never going to be a good tree because the material wasn't very good to start with. There's trees I've had that I've worked on for, 30 years. And I have trees that I got from people that have died that were really good bonsai friends of mine, and they passed and they left the trees to me. So those trees have a pretty special place. I would never sell those trees because I've got a lot of history with them and a lot of memories with them. They're a little more important to me than a tree I just bought, and I don't have a history with. But something I've been taking care of for 30 years, and trees are living things. They die, and it's terrible. I mean, something you've worked on for that long and it doesn't make it. I kind of call it the heartbreak hobby because you can spend so much time on something and then just lose it all in like one bad year or one bad mistake or one fungus infection on them or something. So it can be pretty devastating mentally sometimes when you lose a really great tree. But anyone in bonsai, it's happened to them. There's no one immune from that. I lost one of my favorite trees in my entire collection this year, and I've had that thing for 30 years, and it was just like terrible. But you just got to get past it, and just be like, it happens. It's the hobby.
I kind of question myself at times where I've got my 2007 Honda Element that I drive the crap out of, and I paid $3,200 for it, and then I turn around and pay $8,000 for a tree and do that 3 times in a year.
I had a lady at a bonsai show come up to me and just kind of go, "What's the point?" Well, what's the point of any art?
Some people think, oh, your priorities are screwed up, but it's what makes me happy.